Good morning and happy Monday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation. We're coming to you live from the deep red and cold state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned. What a weekend we had here. That's not just us. You had it all across the country. That was a pretty powerful winter storm. Was it nice knowing, if you were watching this show, that you were getting updates about it every day? That turned out to be pretty reliable, huh? Turned out to be pretty reliable, I'll say. I want you to stick to talking about the news, you MAGA scumbag. It's like, If it was up to me, I'd talk more about the weather. It's a lot more enjoyable than having to deal with all this nonsense going on in Minnesota. By the way, I mean, it feels like we've been dealing with Minnesota for like the last 45 days. Maybe more. Not that dealing with the news is bad. It's great. It's very important. But man, it's like getting worn out by this Minnesota stuff. It is time, I believe. A couple of weeks ago, I asked the question after the Renee Good situation. I asked the question, is it time for the Insurrection Act? Or when will it be time for the Insurrection Act? I believe right now it's time. I've seen enough. And you know me, I'm usually a little late to jump to these types of measures, right? I'm a little slower to jump to those types of measures. I always like to say, why don't we let's hold on before we do anything drastic. Let's hold on and let's see what happens. I personally have seen enough. Thank you, Arthur. Arthur says your weather was spot on. Thank you, Arthur. Appreciate it. I have seen enough. Like there's no longer now. Trump is sending Tom Homan to Minnesota. What is Tom Homan going to say? I mean, I guess is this the administration doing its due diligence? Getting a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth opinion of what's going on over there. Because for the rest of us, I think we have seen enough. And I have certainly seen enough. I believe it is time now for the Insurrection Act based off of the things that we're seeing coming out of Minnesota and based off of what the Insurrection Act says. We'll read you the statutory language again from U.S. Code. We'll read you that. We'll show you that I think at this point the criteria has been met. And it may have been met a couple of weeks ago, but it's been more than met now. You are dealing with this. This is not an organic, right? These protests, they're not protests. Let's be honest. These riots, they're not organic. They're well coordinated. They're well funded. You had conservative journalists infiltrating the signal chats of some of these agitators and the organizers, and there were politicians in there. Yeah, so it's not organic. It's not, neighbors gathering around, the cul-de-sac and saying, we got to really do something about ICE in our community. These people are either being paid, there's some sort of incentive. I believe money is involved, and it's well coordinated with members of the local government. It is time now for the Insurrection Act because anything less, I believe, and this is my opinion, but anything less, I believe, looks weak. And when you show weakness in front of a bully, the bully gets stronger, right? When you show weakness in front of a bully, when that bully's got you cornered and you start shaking and crying and looking unsure of yourself, that bully knows he's in control. We cannot allow the bully to believe it is in control. This is our administration. This is the Trump administration, not the left-wing agitator administration. And by the way, can we go back a couple weeks Where are all the people now who on Instagram and X and Facebook were saying to me, no, you're taking this too far. The left doesn't want their protesters killed. Yes, they do. It's abundantly clear that they love it when one of their pawns goes down on the board. It is abundantly clear. This guy, Pretty, whatever, who died in this altercation with, Border Patrol and federal law enforcement officers. It is very easy. We've said this a bunch of times. It is very easy to survive an encounter with law enforcement. Yes, you're allowed to have a gun on you if it's legal in the jurisdiction where you're at. We could argue Second Amendment and all that stuff down the road. But don't reach for it. Don't reach for other things on your holster when these agents knew you had a firearm. And then there's this crowd of idiots blowing whistles and screaming and yelling. And you have fog of war. And you have these people who are disoriented. They love it when their protesters are shot, when their protesters are killed, and I say protesters, I don't mean that these people are lawfully exercising their First Amendment rights, because they're not. Peaceful assembly is not impeding federal officers. Peaceful assembly is not blocking roadways. Peaceful assembly is not physically confronting officers and assaulting officers. None of that is protected by the First Amendment. So, I say to the administration, if there are people in your orbit who are in your ear saying, don't do the Insurrection Act, you're going to look like a tyrant. Who gives a crap? Because if you don't crack down on, and this is not something that's been going on in Minnesota for a week. This has been going on for the better part of a month, if not longer. If you do not crack down on these unlawful riots, demonstrations, gatherings, whatever you want to call it, it's going to continue. It's going to get worse. It's going to get much worse when the weather starts getting warmer. We're a month and a half away from spring, okay? The whole, cold weather deterrent ain't going to be there. It's going to get worse. So if there are people who are chirping in the ears of the administration, say, hold off on that, you might look like a tyrant. Who cares? Who cares? Is there a situation where the mainstream media paints the administration in a positive light? You could bend over backwards and say, all right, we're not going to use the Insurrection Act. We're going to be nice. We're going to send in social workers to Minnesota, and we're going to clean this up. The media is going to say the administration can't handle it, and they're caving, and the left won. And there's no positive spin that the mainstream media is going to put on what's going on in Minneapolis and Minnesota. None. Zero. Nothing. So if there are people who are like, don't do it because it's going to make him look like a tyrant, shut your mouths and grow some balls, please. Please. It's like it's like the ignoring a problem makes the problem go away. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. What are you going to do? When you have a flat tire, you're going to go to the tire, you're going to console the tire. Oh, you're a good little tire. If only you had some air in it. No, you're going to freaking fix the flat. Out with the old, in with the new. I mean, you've seen riots and stuff like this going on since around Thanksgiving. It's almost February. And if I get one more strongly worded letter from Pam Bondi, I'm going to lose my mind. Enough for the freaking letters. What is this, Blue's Clues? We just gotta shut the my goodness, I'm getting so mad. This bimbo who is running the Department of Justice is in way over her head. And F any of you who said it was too early to fire her back in July after the Epstein fiasco. She should go. You know what? You want to work on Fox News? Go work on Fox News. And if this is black pilling and this is, you're too critical of the admin, F that too. This woman is in way over her head. It is obvious she's got to go. She's got to go. What is Tim Walz going to do with a letter? He's going to wipe his ass with it. We constructed it. What? Would you give him another fucking warning? How many more warnings? I'm sorry. If that's too much for you, I'm sorry. But this windbag, this bimbo, this ditzy blonde piece of garbage that is parading around as the Attorney General of the United States is in way over her head. Way over her head. It's clear. What are you going to tell me? What is it? Is the president going to come out and tell me Pam Bondi's doing a fantastic job again? And I love the president, don't get me wrong. But enough is enough. Enough is enough. You know what time it is? It's interview time for Pam Bondi. Guys, I give a lot of leeway and a lot of runway to a lot of people with this administration. But this, to see what we saw, to see agents getting assaulted, to see the constantly people breaking the law. 18 U.S. Code Section 111. It is illegal to interfere with federal officers officially discharging their duties. Illegal. Against the law. And we get a letter? What are we, still in the 1800s with these letters? Do you think Tim Walz is looking at the letter going, all right, that's it. All right, I'm going to cooperate now. A letter? The hell's a letter going to do? I've had enough. I've had enough. And if this administration right now, this is it. This is it right now. This is it right now. This is either going to go very well for the administration or very badly for the administration. If the administration appears weak, if the administration appears hesitant to just restore law and order, to just restore normalcy, then it's done. Then why even bother come November for the administration to try? Because everything that's going to be talked about from this point forward, and not just domestically, but internationally as well, it's going to look like empty threats. They need to crack down now. Enough is enough. I know now Tom Homan's going to Minnesota. What is Tom? And I love Tom Homan. What is he going to do? Is he going to come back and say, yeah, it's really bad there? We know it's bad there. Nick Sorter, Nick Shirley, James O'Keefe was threatened. His life was threatened. They tracked his car. They named the car that he was in. They named the license plate that he had. They said, you're going to be dead if you don't leave the city in an hour. This is stuff that's going on right now. Chad Caton will tell you this is insane out there. Nick Shirley, Nick Sorter, Cam Higbee, Dustin Greggy, they're all telling you the same thing. We don't need Tom Homan to go out there and tell us the same thing again. Crack down and get this under control now. Invoke the Insurrection Act and get this under control now. You got the Minnesota National Guard giving donuts and coffee to the agitators. What are we doing? And what? And what? We get this. We get Pam Bondi. Well, I'll fix it. I'll just write him a strongly worded letter, and then I'll go on Fox News and wag my finger and say, this is not going to be it's been tolerated for the last 2 months. I'm just tired of it, guys. Why do you think? And I love the weather. But you know how nice it felt for the last 3 or 4 days to not have to look at what any of these idiots at the Department of Justice like Pam Bondi are doing? And the strongly worded stances and all this, and to just focus on whether or not it was going to snow or sleet here in Tennessee. You know how nice that was? I'm so fed up. And I don't want to say that the administration's a failure because it hasn't been a failure. It's been great. But my goodness, if you can't tell now that DOJ is the weakest by far link of this administration and that something has to be done, I don't know what else to do. You either invoke the Insurrection Act today, tomorrow, whatever, in the next 72 hours, or no one's going to take you seriously anymore. I mean, when New York State sent me a letter that said, you're not allowed to hold a mask burning party at Bethpage State Park, I quite literally wiped my rear end with it and then dropped it into a fire pit in front of them because I knew they were full of crap and they weren't going to do anything about it. That's what letters mean to people now. It doesn't mean anything. Enough of the letters. Enough of the warnings. Enough of the statements. Do something. You know, I wanted to start the show off on a fun note, on a light note. We were going to talk about the weather. We're still going to do that a little bit. And if you're on the East Coast, there's a threat. But this is it's boiling over now for me. And I think it's like that for the rest of you. I just want to know, and I'm really trying to keep it clean. I just want to know, what the hell is a letter going to do to stop these well-funded, well-organized, well-coordinated agitators and insurrectionists in Minneapolis? Does Pam Bondi really think she's making a difference with this letter? Does she really think so? This bimbo needs to be fired.
It's just to look like she did something.
She wants to look tough, but she's barely even a paper tiger. She's like a paper kitten. Unbelievable. And for some reason, Donald Trump can never get it right with Attorney General. First, he picked a sleaze bag known as Matt Gaetz. A total sleaze. And then, and that was, I believe, to give Gaetz an out. And then Bondi. And we gave her time. I've had it. Well, we wrote a letter to Tim Walz. Great. That's great. I'm sure. I'm glad Pam Bondi's found a new pen pal in Tim Walz. I'm so happy. She's, dear pen pal, hey, Tampon Tim, please tell your friends to stop rioting in the streets. Sincerely and always yours, Pam Bondi. Thanks. Good. I'm glad you have a pen pal in Minneapolis and in Minnesota there, Pam. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy. You're going to hang it on the wall like we're in third grade, too? Look what my pen pal said back. He told me to go F himself. It's wonderful. Great job. All right. We're going to take a quick break. Should have done this a little while ago, but we got it here. OFP Farms, OFPFarms.com, OFPFarms.com. Nestled in the scenic foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains, OFP Farms is more than just a farm. It embodies a tradition of quality and care, proudly operating since 2014. OFP Farms goats are lovingly raised, roaming open pastures and breathing fresh air, which ensures that the milk produced is of the highest standards. From their creamy goat milk soap and moisturizers to the nourishing tallow-based balms, every product is thoughtfully crafted with your family's well-being in mind. They are committed, OFP Farms is, to sustainable farming practices, providing natural and wholesome products that you can rely on. Now, whether you're in search of gentle skincare solutions or simply wish to indulge in the purity of farm-fresh goods, we warmly invite you to explore their website, OFPFarms.com. OFP Farms' mission is to bring a piece of the farm into your home, nurturing your family with the finest that nature has to offer. Just go to OFPFarms.com. It's OFPFarms.com. Use the promo code Sean, SHAWN, for 10% off of your entire order. OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN. It's OFP Oscar Foxtrot, PapaFarms.com, promo code Sean, SHAWN. Monica from Sarahita, Arizona, just purchased some salve, chamomile, and calendula. Look at that. About 14 hours ago. A nice little order came through there on OFPFarms.com. So it's OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN, OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN for 10% off. That's OFPFarms.com, OFPFarms.com. All right. Next up, a word from our friends over at Armra Colostrum. It's tryarmra.com/LFA-TV, TRYARMRA.com/LFA-TV. Armra Colostrum, folks, you know, I'm always on the lookout for ways to strengthen my immunity and my gut health, improve my fitness and metabolism, and enhance my skin and hair radiance. That is what Armra Colostrum can do for you and more. Colostrum is the first nutrition that we receive in life. Look at that, 30% off. They're running a beautiful promo right now at tryarmra.com/LFA-TV. Colostrum's the first nutrition we receive in life, contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. It can help reactivate your hair growth. It can help your skin glow, can help fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism. These are the most common benefits of colostrum. Can also help fuel your fitness performance and recovery. Check it out at tryarmra.com/LFA-TV for up to 30% off of your first order. That's tryarmra.com/LFA-TV, tryarmra.com/LFA-TV, tryarmra.com/LFA-TV. All right. I guess we'll do a little bit of a laugh break in the middle because we got to get to this Minnesota stuff. Unfortunately, we got to get to this Minnesota stuff. I have seen enough. I believe it is time for the Insurrection Act. Take a look at what was going on at one of the hotels that ICE was staying at last night. Look at this and you tell me, what is a letter going to do to stop this? What is Pam Bondi writing to her new pen pal in Minnesota, Tim Walz? What is a letter going to do? Do you think these people who are trying to break into a hotel where federal agents are staying, you think these people are going to be scared off by a few words printed on a piece of paper, folded nicely, put into an envelope? Dear Tim, do you think this is going to do anything to stop them? No. The Insurrection Act is needed. Watch this. Okay, a strongly worded letter is not going to stop that. It's not. Period. It's time for the Insurrection Act. It's time for the Insurrection Act. Last night, President Trump called on Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Gov't Frey and every Democrat governor and mayor in the United States of America to cease their sanctuary policies and partner with the federal government on enforcement of immigration laws. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They're not going to cooperate. That's it. That ship has sailed. Stop asking them. It's not going to happen. You know, you're. It's like I don't understand where the disconnect is here. Maybe we're doing the due diligence and we're saying, well, we asked and we asked again and we asked again and we stop asking. Act. It's clear. They're not going to cooperate. It's clear. And you could continue playing ping pong with them. All right, your shot. We asked you to cooperate. They're going to send you back a hard double barrel middle finger. No thanks. Or they're going to go, oh, we don't know what you're talking about. What? There's riots? We have nothing to do with that. Well, you're not doing anything to stop it. They're not going to cooperate. They're not. Why do we even have hope? What do you think? A Truth Social post, a post online where it says, please cooperate. We want you to cooperate with it and stop the chaos. You think they're going to read that and go, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I think I'm going to. What world are we living in here? It's time for action. Let's review what the Insurrection Act says, shall we? The Insurrection Act is codified at 10 U.S. Code subsections 251 to 255. Here's the exact statutory language. Section 251, wherever there is an insurrection in any state against its government, the president may, upon the request of its legislature or its governor, or if the legislature cannot be convened, call into federal service such of the militia of the other states in number requested by that state and use such of the armed forces as he considers necessary to suppress the insurrection. Section 252, use of militia and armed forces to enforce federal authority. Whenever the president considers that unlawful obstructions, combinations, or assemblages or rebellion against the authority of the United States make it impracticable to enforce the laws of the United States in any state by the ordinary course of judicial proceedings, he may call into federal service such of the militia of any state, which is the National Guard, and use such of the armed forces as he considers necessary to enforce those laws or suppress the rebellion. Done. 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 The criteria has been met. Done. It's over. That is it right there. Whenever the president considers that unlawful obstructions, combinations, or assemblages or rebellion against the authority of the U.S. make it impracticable to enforce the laws of the United States in any state by the ordinary course of judicial proceedings, he may call into federal service such of the militia of any state and use such of the armed forces as he considers necessary to enforce those laws or suppress the rebellion. Done. 10 U.S. Code Section 252. Now, today, do it. Don't wait for Tom Homan. Don't wait for Pam Bondi's pen pal to write back. Just get it done. Look, if there is one thing that a bully reacts to and responds to, it's force. Sometimes you gotta punch a dude in the mouth to get him to stop kicking you in the nuts. That's it. It's time to punch these people in the mouth politically. Hey, maybe physically. You want to swing at a federal officer? Be prepared to lose a bunch of teeth. That's what it's got to take. Someone brought up a good idea last night. It's like minus 20 in Minnesota. Break out the fire hoses. That's inhumane. I don't care. I don't care. This has been going on for a month and a half. How much longer is this supposed to continue? You've got autonomous zones. You've got federal officers being assaulted. I think there was a report that one of them had part of their finger bitten off. And we have the Attorney General of the United States saying, well, I'm going to write a letter to my pen pal, the governor of Minnesota, and see what he has to say about it. What do you do? What do you think that's going to do? Do you think, you're in high school, you got a bully stuffing you into lockers? Do you think writing him a letter is going to make it stop? Are we living in the same world here? 10 U.S. Code Section 253, interference with state and federal law. The president, by using the militia or the armed forces or both, or by any other means, shall take such measures as he considers necessary to suppress in a state any insurrection, domestic violence, unlawful combination, or conspiracy if it so hinders the execution of the laws of that state and of the United States within the state that any part or class of its people is deprived of a right, privilege, immunity, or protection named in the Constitution and secured by law, and the constituted authorities of that state are unable, fail, or refuse to protect that right, privilege, or immunity, or to give that protection, or if it opposes or obstructs the execution of the laws of the United States or impedes the course of justice under those laws. Done! It's right there. I'm reading it to you. This is the exact statutory language in the Insurrection Act. It's right there. It's right there. You have federal law enforcement in Minnesota being attacked. You have local and state law enforcement in Minnesota refusing to act upon it. It's done. It's over. I don't care what them. Do you think I give a damn what the New York Times is going to say about it? Well, we don't want to risk a bad write-up on ABC. They're going to write up bad stuff about you anyway. I don't know what I'm missing, guys. Am I missing something? Is this about PR? Is this about perception? Is this about, how people are going to talk about cracking down on, what's been over a month and a half of unruly riots and, not First Amendment protected activities going on in Minnesota? Am I missing something here? Please tell me if I am. Please tell me if I am. And I don't want to hear this whole Donald Trump's playing 5D chess. He's already given them enough rope to hang themselves, and they're cutting themselves free because George Soros is giving them blades to cut off the noose, okay? Here we go. Proclamation to disperse. Whenever the president considers necessary to use the militia or the armed forces under this chapter, he shall, by proclamation, immediately order the insurgents to disperse and retire peaceably to their abodes within a limited time. He has not done that yet. He's asked the governor and he's asked other people in Minneapolis, local leaders, to cooperate. He has not made the proclamation to disperse yet. And this is a part of the Insurrection Act, right? It says he shall, by proclamation, order the insurrection. The president has to give the proclamation to disperse. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. You had people who prayed outside of an abortion clinic arrested and thrown in jail. And you've got people right now assaulting federal officers, breaking into hotels, and you got the Attorney General of the United States. Let me get my feather pen, dip it in the ink, and start writing a little letter and to put Tim Walz on notice. Like Tim Walz gives a damn. He's not even running for re-election. He doesn't care. Gary brings up a good point in the chat. Well, they're proving in real time that Donald Trump is not a tyrant, because if he was, every one of them would have been executed at this point, which is just true. It's morbid, but it's true. I mean, for example, you want to see how a tyrant handles protests and demonstrations? Iran has killed 36,000 people. Now, I'm not saying we should be doing that, by the way. Not at all. Arrest them. Federalize the National Guard, deploy it to Minnesota, and crack down and send a message. Hey, if you do this in other states, we'll do the same thing, because he's legally allowed to do it. They have made it impossible to enforce federal laws in Minnesota, specifically in Minneapolis right now. They've made it impossible. Impracticable, as it says in the statute. So make your proclamation and send them in, because this cannot continue. It looks weak. Your base is frustrated. Your most ardent supporters are sitting there with a big WTF above their head. What the F is going on here? Why has there been no action? And I know you got to do it the right way. And I know you can't, rush it. And I know you can't take shortcuts. I get all of that. I understand all of that. I'm on board with that line of thinking. I'm fine with that. I believe we're past that now. Everybody can see what's going on. Cam Higbee, 0 Hour, a bunch of journalists got into their Signal chats yesterday and proved that this is being coordinated with politicians as high as lieutenant governor in the state of Minnesota. This is done now. We're done playing this game of maybe they'll all go home. No, they're not going home. They're going to stay out. They've been emboldened by the inaction of this Department of Justice. It is time to shift gears here and crack down on these people. And I'm not saying to start shooting. I'm not saying to kill people or anything. I don't want to see what happened in Iran. That's not what this administration is going to do. But it's time to see the rule of law restored by force in Minnesota. Enough is enough. I gave it some time. A couple of weeks ago, half the chat was yelling at me saying, you don't know what you're talking about. It's time for the Insurrection Act. And I was like, well, let's hold on just a little bit longer. Let's see what happens. And it got worse. It got worse. Now I'm fully on board with everybody here. It's time to get this done by force. Period. Period. All right. Quick break. A word from our friends over at Silent. It's slnt.com/Sean, slnt.com/SHAWN. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys know it. Your phone is a tracking device. Between government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even those nasty cyber criminals, they're all over the place. They're fighting for a piece of your digital footprint, and they don't ask. They just go on and take it. That is why Silent exists. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, including cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communications. No signal means no tracking, no remote access, no breadcrumbs. It's the same technology trusted by special operations teams around the world, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now, that technology is available to you to protect your family, protect your freedom, and secure your digital footprint. Just drop your phone in a silent Faraday sleeve, and it is off the grid, completely silent and invisible to the outside world. From their backpacks to their sleeves to their crossbodies, Silent's patented technology gives you control of your privacy. All you got to do is visit slnt.com/Sean to get 15% off and free shipping on qualifying orders. That is silent.com/Sean. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead by going to silent, slnt.com/SHAWN, silent.com/SHAWN. Go silent today. All right.
It's Mo time.
Yeah, oh, okay. Wow, that was fast.
Levity to the situation.
Okay, a little Mo. It's Mo's think it's not. Insurrection Act, yes or no? That sounded like a yes to me. That sounded like I speak hedgehog. Okay. Oh, and by the way, Hedgehog Day is coming up.
Oh.
Is that February 2nd?
I've got no idea. Groundhog Day?
That's when Bongino returns. Maybe he'll come out of the hole and see his shadow, and it'll be 7 more years of the damn Bongino show. You know, maybe I'll make something funny for that. We'll see. It is Hedgehog Day coming up. We say it's Groundhog Day, but it's for us on our show. It's Hedgehog Day. All right. I want to have fun, but it's like there's so much more to get to. Let's do this real quick. Let's do the Signal chat story. This is out of control. The Signal chat, have you heard about this, guys, online here?
I have not.
A leaked Signal group chat has exposed deep ties between Democrat officials, including Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and radical anti-ICE activists in Minnesota. The private messaging group called MN ICE Watch has allegedly been used to coordinate protests, issue marching orders, and even dox federal ICE agents during the ongoing protests and riots in Minneapolis. Names of the group's administrators were leaked after the group was infiltrated by conservative independent journalist Cam Higbee and posted on X. Quote, I have infiltrated the organized Signal group chats all around Minneapolis with the sole intention of tracking down federal agents and impeding, assaulting, and obstructing them, Higbee wrote at the start of a lengthy thread of screenshots and videos from the chat. One of the admins of the group is Amanda Noel Kaler, a prominent protest organizer and former campaign strategist for Tim Walz. Kaler, who goes by the code name HAH in the chat, is listed as one of the group's admins. Former Walz staffer has allegedly been actively involved in mobilizing volunteers to track and harass federal agents during Operation Metro Surge, the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration violations in the Twin Cities. The chat also has a local politician, David Snyder, listed as an admin, and Minnesota State Senate candidate Anita Smithson as a dispatcher. Snyder deleted his LinkedIn account following the leak. Let's see what else. The group has created a database of license plates of vehicles being used by ICE agents, and people can call in to check plates within the database. Higbee himself recorded the discussion about him as the protesters suspected him to be an ICE agent. There have been politicians up and down the political food chain and totem pole in Minnesota implicated in this group. Sounds like a conspiracy to me. It is time to work on bringing charges on that whole group. I'm sure Cam Higbee would be more than willing, because they're talking about killing him. I'm sure Cam Higbee would be more than willing to submit all of that data to the Department of Justice. And maybe he has. Maybe he has. I hope he has. Here's Tim Walz basically saying, yeah, the federal government, we're not going to cooperate. Watch this.
Is there anything we can do to meet the Trump administration, at least part of the way, to try to turn this temperature down?
Well, first of all, it's not a serious attempt, and the Attorney General sent that in. I would thank the local folks and Commissioner Snell. A great thank you to you and your team over there. In that letter, they talked about, you need to hand people over who are in your jails. They're taking credit for people that we've had in jail for a long time. We always hand them over, and the commissioner very clearly. So they're lying. They're lying. This has nothing to do with fraud, as the Attorney General said. They're not sending us forensic accountants, and these are things that have been we're dealing with now and have been for quite some time. So look, it's not a serious attempt to get at this. The way to fix this is get these folks out of here. We've continued to work with them. They asked us for these numbers. We provided them. We continue to show, and they're not serious. And look, I think everybody understands what the last request was, totally unrelated to anything on the voter files. This is, again, as the Attorney General said.
All right, here you go. There's that Tim Walz. We're not going to cooperate. We're not going to do it. They just need to leave. Well, I believe it was Greg Bovino, who is the head of Border Patrol, said, we'll leave when all the illegal aliens have been scooped up here. You follow Matt Brown on X, he put together two threads yesterday, one today, of he went on dhs.gov/wow and searched Minnesota. I mean, it was just pages upon pages upon pages of illegal aliens in Minnesota convicted of just heinous crimes. Heinous crimes. Insane. Insane. Here's Walz saying that ICE actually isn't law enforcement. Hey, Tim, after you're done reading your latest letter from your pen pal, Pam Bondi, what does the E stand for in ICE? Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Oh, but they're not law enforcement. Oh, okay, got it. Idiot.
Made this request before. Is there any reason to believe that it will be answered differently? Have you had any conversations with the president, with the federal government, and is there any indication that they are going to pull out or back down?
Well, I spoke twice this morning, shortly after I received the call of this shooting. I spoke with the President's Chief of Staff, and first request was to get her people out of there, to get these federal agents out of there. They were going to cause more chaos. And second call is, with no uncertain terms, that we will investigate this. We will not be stonewalled. What we've already seen, and you saw it this morning, before any investigation is done, you have the most powerful people in the federal government spinning stories and putting up pictures, and unrelated people who we don't know anything about, and a picture of a firearm to try and spin a narrative. And I ask Americans, this will end when enough Americans say this will end. Do I have any confidence Donald Trump will do the right thing? No, I don't have a lot of confidence Donald Trump will do the right thing. I do have a lot of confidence that the majority of the American people will do the right thing. And I think there cannot be very many people across this country looking right now, after all the reporting that's been done, after everything that's been said, under the pretense that they are here about immigration reform, and quit referring to these people as law enforcement. They are not law enforcement. We have law enforcement who do an incredible job. And to listen to Greg Bovino denigrate the work of our people who are out there cleaning up their mess, no, I don't have a lot of confidence that he himself will do it. But here's what I do have confidence in. There's a whole lot of Republicans, for whatever reason, cannot find their spine. But they might find the ability to know that they're not going to win another election as long as they live, unless they...
Oh, stop. Yeah, stop it. You want to see what your law enforcement's doing? They're handing out donuts to protest. Look at this. There's the National Guard. Look at this. Donuts and coffee. Is this wild or what?
It's almost Valentine's Day. We'll get a shot of those donuts.
But thank you all.
See how it goes.
Cup of coffee, sir?
Crispy one on the end hasn't been. At least hot chocolate? Got donuts.
Yeah, they're really cleaning up the mess. They're really cleaning up the mess. I've had enough. Tim Walz is not helping, by the way, with this rhetoric.
We have got children in Minnesota hiding in their houses, afraid to go outside. Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota.
Anne Frank. Yeah, it's really going to settle your people down. ICE is not the reason why people are rioting. You are the reason why people are rioting. There are illegal aliens in your state and in your city that have no right to be in your state and in your city. None. They're breaking into hotels. They are assaulting federal officers. And you're just like, oh, well, they should leave. No. No, they shouldn't leave. They are there enforcing the law. They are law enforcement. ICE stands for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Here's one of my favorite people. The police chief of Minneapolis. Remember the one who said you should call 911 on ICE? Remember that guy? Here he is again making another ass of himself.
The greater issue is, even if there is an investigation that ultimately proves that at the time of the shooting it was legally justified, I don't think that even matters at this point, because there is so much outrage and concern around what is happening in the city.
So even if there's an investigation that proves that the shooting of the Preddy guy was justified, which I believe it was, even if there's an investigation that proves that that shooting was justified, it doesn't matter? Okay, so your mind is made up despite whatever facts are presented to you? How the hell is this guy a cop, let alone a chief? Here's another thing I called a couple weeks ago. And this is, again, supports the theory the left loves it when their protesters die. Now Chuck Schumer says they're going to shut the government down over ICE funding and DHS funding. I told you. If you were listening to this show a couple weeks ago, I told you, okay, that they were going to do this after the Renee Good thing. And then this guy, he gets shot, Preddy, whatever his name was. Again, I don't want to see people get hurt. I'm not a leftist. There's a very easy way, again, to survive an encounter with law enforcement, and it's just don't do anything stupid. I told you this was coming, and now it's going to be up to John Thune, who's, about as weak as it gets, to enforce, not to enforce federal laws, wrong mindset, to nuke the filibuster and move through this without the Democrats. I told you that this was coming. I had a whole show about this prospect right there. I told you that this was coming. Worth reminding everybody that I don't just say things to say things. I try and get a good read on what's going on, so that when you come here and graciously give me an hour of your day every day, that you could take something away from it and know, hey, that was an hour. He may have gotten wild and started screaming, and I may disagree with a couple things he said, but wow, interesting take. I wonder if that's what's going to happen. Guys, from the weather to what the Democrats are going to do, I'm pretty sure we're ahead of the curve a lot of the times. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, and I'm not trying to tell you we're the best at this. I'm just trying to tell you you're not wasting your time. Quick word from our friends over at goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. It's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
I'm sure by now you've heard that silver went up 160% last year, 2025. I bought this silver for $22 an ounce. It's now worth almost $100. And we and experts think that silver is going to get up to about $200 an ounce. Palladium and platinum were stuck at $900 an ounce for like over a year, or in that area. Now they're up over $2,000. Gold is approaching $5,000 an ounce. If you have ever thought about putting some or all of your retirement or nest egg or savings, or just buying bullion in precious metals, now's the time to do it. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. That's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. Go leave your name, your email, and your phone number. Schedule a time to talk to the folks over at Golden Crest Metals. Get your free gold guide today, and make sure you tune in on Saturdays at 1 p.m. for the Crest Report, where we dive deep into precious metals, why they're doing what they're doing, and where we expect them to go. It is like insider trading. Nancy Pelosi knows about that. We don't. It's just inside information. It's not even really that. It's called knowledge. Get yours today and get a part of gold, silver, palladium, and platinum, and diversify your portfolio today. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
That's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. Thank you, Golden Crest. Thank you, Jeremy, for being a part of the show. Greatly appreciate that. And if you could hit that thumbs up button, I know we're close to 900. Very close. So hit that thumbs up button, hit that share button, take this link, give it to your friends. Say, hey, look at this guy losing his mind this morning. But it's kind of funny. He said, Pam Bondi's got a pen pal. Like she's in the 3rd grade again. Oh, I got a letter from Minnesota. I wonder what it's in it. I wonder what Tim Walz said back to me. And there were a lot of words that I wanted to use to describe Pam Bondi that I didn't use because we would have lost the point. And I yelled a little bit. Maybe we lost a little bit of the point in the screaming, but I think we all understand, and I think we're all frustrated. We got it? Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to have a little fun before the show's over. So here's Magamo. Magamo's says it's time for the Insurrection Act. All right. Now, if you've been living under a rock, you didn't see this video over the weekend. I went out in the snow. Brennan and I went out, while it was still snowing. Said now is a great time for a weather report from your favorite meteorologist. So we did a little Trump the Weatherman. Really how I started learning how to do Trump's voice. This and while I was selling DirecTV, I used it on customers that I got to read on were conservative. But this brought it back to the roots. There were a lot of people who follow me on X, including a guy by the name of Ants MAGA Weather, who's in Massachusetts. He remembers when I used to do this, and my Trump was awful back then, but it was a lot of fun. So this is Trump the Weatherman in the snow. We've eclipsed 5 million views on Facebook, 1 million on Instagram, 4 million on X. My goodness. So I appreciate that's 10 million. That's a lot. Appreciate everybody who shared it and enjoyed it. So take a look. This is your favorite meteorologist reporting live from the snowstorm. It's very cold. It's colder than the average Somali IQ. It's very cold, very low temperatures. Their IQs are very low, but the temperatures are lower than that, which means it's very cold. You have big, beautiful flakes falling from the sky, fat flakes. It looks like Chris Christie falling out of the sky, but we get along very well with the snow. In a few hours, we're expecting ice. You love ice. We all love ice, except when it gets on the power lines. Then we want to abolish ice, but we hope the power stays on, and we hope you stay warm. You don't like it when your temperatures get lower than the Somali IQ. It's very hard to get that low, but it's very low. So the flakes are huge. The flakes are huge. The flakes are fat. Like Chris Christie falling out of the sky. The flakes are fat. But it's a big, beautiful snowstorm, and we made a tremendous deal with Mother Nature, and she's doing a fantastic job with this storm. Thank you for your attention to this matter. You see how the sound got a little crazy at the end of that? Because the snow started hitting the phone pretty hard. That went all over the place. And appreciate everybody who shared it and enjoyed it and all the kind words. It was great. Even Britt Hume of Fox News. So, I like sometimes, I don't like sometimes, whatever. He said, if you close your eyes, you wouldn't know. Britt Hume. So that's pretty cool. Hey, I want to show you just something that's popping up on the models real quick. This is the latest run of the European model surface map. See this piece over here diving down. You've got a low pressure forming around Louisiana. This is going to, there it is in the Gulf of America. Exit right by the Carolinas. You see it all taking shape here. And it gets captured by the trough. This would be a major I-95 East Coast, possibly historic East Coast snowstorm. 6 days out at this point. This is valid February 1st, January 31st range. So 5 to 6 days out. Time to keep an eye on something like this. It is showing up on the American model. If we switch over and we go to the 6Z run, it's showing up on the American model. You see it. It's way out. See how far out it is? And it kind of gets booted. That could be that cold bias of the GFS again kicking in. So, hey, just know that there's something on the radar. We'll watch it. And for my friends and family up in the Northeast, it's never too early to just start taking preliminary preparations ahead of some of these storms. All right, we got lucky and there's no power outage here in Murfreesboro where we're at. There are power outages around the city. Franklin, Brentwood, Nashville, Tennessee, nearly 50% of Nashville residents are without power. So that's a very bad situation. You obviously have the temperatures down in the low teens. Right now, it's about 14 degrees outside here, so it's fairly cold, I'd say. Yeah. Didn't stop me from making pork last night, though. I'll tell you what, nothing will stop me from making my pork chops. So we have that. Hopefully the power can be restored. Sun is out now, I think, right?
It's been so beautiful this morning. I was wandering around.
The sun is starting to come out.
It was 10 degrees, and I was out there in a sweatshirt and sweatpants.
Yeah. Sun is starting to come out outside, so we should have some melt happening today, and tomorrow it's going to be sunny too, maybe even encroaching above freezing. Last story I wanted to touch on. We'll touch on it. A Mexican illegal alien with a lengthy rap sheet was arrested for hurling a rock at a school bus and fracturing an 8-year-old girl's skull in New Jersey. These are the people that the left wants to keep in your communities. These are the people that they're rioting over. These are the people that they are trying to protect. Okay? This is not about politics anymore and that I want to see the left lose. This is about good versus evil, right versus wrong. And the left is completely wrong about it. And I believe we need to see a couple of things this week from the administration. I want to see a primetime address. I want to see either that or one of, remember like the COVID style press conferences, a major, bring all the officials in there and calmly discuss what rules are being broken, show the evidence, do all of what you've got to do to make your pitch to the American people or present your case in the court of public opinion that what's going on in Minneapolis is completely wrong. You've got conservative journalists having their lives threatened. You've got federal agents having their hotels busted into, broken into. It is time to start making that case in the court of public opinion. It is time to issue that proclamation to disperse, and it is time to invoke the Insurrection Act. Enough is enough. I'm getting frustrated. You're getting frustrated. This whole country is getting frustrated. This should not be allowed to continue another second longer. Jeremy Harrell coming up next here on LFA TV, rumble.com/LFA TV, rumble.com/LFA TV. If you're listening on the audio side, you could see all the videos at rumble.com/LFA TV, where this runs live all day long on the single all-day stream, but then the show is individually uploaded as soon as we stop streaming to the long stream. So it is there if you would like to watch the standalone hour later in the day. Please subscribe to us anywhere you get your podcast by searching Ungoverned. Hit subscribe. We've seen a huge increase on the audio side. Greatly appreciate that. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll see you again tomorrow right here, same time, same place, rumble.com/LFA TV. As President Trump says, we will never give up. We will never give in. We will never ever surrender. If all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Jeremy Harrell up next with Live from America here on LFA TV. Have a great day. Bang, gavel. Good night, everybody, even though it's still the morning for most of you. Actually, all of you. And thank you for your attention to this matter.